loves, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time clicking on this video, my name is Mufaro and we are the Monday makers. We are movers and we are shakers, we are goal setters and we are goal crushers. We believe in making the most of our lives, and we do so by making our Mondays, because we believe that Monday sets the tone for the week. This is the tone for the months become years, and the years ultimately make our lives. And so we do so by having open, transparent, but constructive conversations. We have them one conversation at a time. We talk about business, we talk about life, we talk about faith and everything that is in between. So if that's the kind of family that you want to be a part of, then hey, hit that subscribe button. And to my Monday makers, my movers and my shakers, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking on another video. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the like, the comments, the engagement. And yeah, without rambling too much, let us get into today's video. And so in today's video, I just thought, you know what, since in my last video, I was sharing with you that I had been reflecting about the year. You know, one of the things that stuck out to me, and even as I am nearing exiting one decade and entering another, I just thought, you know what, let me share with you, first of all, some reflections from my year, maybe a couple of things I've learned in my 20s, but most of all, it's about the importance of realizing where you are, right? And so our anchoring verse, so here we share a lot of scripture, we share a lot of Jesus. That is what our life is centered and built on. So today our scripture is coming from the book of Esther. Queen Esther. Yes, we are talking about Queen Esther, the favorite Queen Esther. And we are coming from chapter 4. And basically a bit of background. So what's happening in chapter 4 is that Mordecai has learned of Haman's plot to kill all the Jews. And so Mordecai sends message to Esther in the palace that this is what he's planning. And basically in his response to Esther, he tells her that if you think that you are going to escape this punishment, yeah, you have another thing that is coming your way. And so he tells her that, for if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. Yet who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? You know, so many times we especially like if you're Christian, we've quoted this verse so many times, for such a time as this, for such a time as this. But I just wanted us to stop and think and reflect that, are you able to recognize your such a time as this, right? There's a verse that I love to share, and if you don't know it yet, it's about the sons of Issachar who knew the time and season, and they knew what Israel was supposed to do. And one of the dangers that I've discovered, even in my own life, when I look and I see, one of the dangers of not realizing that you are here for such a time as this is that you are going to miss out on opportunities. That's one, right? Esther was going to miss out on the opportunity to be a deliverer to her people. So many of the times when we don't realize that this is our such a time as this, or we are here for such a time as this, we tend not to realize the space that we are in. We tend not to realize the opportunity that we have. And most of the times you are then seeing it in hindsight that, darn it, like I should have done this. Oh, this is where I was. Oh, this is who I had. This is who I had a connection with. This is who I had a link with. And so it's so important that we ask for discernment. I cannot stress the importance. I've seen so many times where something can happen and like I'll be thinking, I want to create content for my channel. And then someone will invite me out. And then guess what? I leave my phone. But I failed to recognize that an opportunity has come my way, or such a time as this has now availed itself, and I cannot make the most out of the opportunity. So that's one of the dangers of not realizing you're such a time as this, or not realizing the place where you are in and not being able to see the opportunities that are around you, right? The second thing with not being able to realize where you are and the opportunities that lay before you, especially when we look at the story of Esther, is that, and that's something that we tend to take for granted, is just because we're in the kingdom of God, and yes, he has things that he has assigned for us to do, if we stay silent, if we don't do what we are supposed to do, help can arise from someone else. Deliverance can come from somewhere else. And it ties back to the parable of the stewards, right? Which will feed into our next point. I believe it's in Matthew 25, where Jesus is speaking about the talents, the parable of the talents, right? When you read towards the end, the server or the steward who had 1 talent, it was taken away from him and it was given to the one who had 5. Why? And if you read what Jesus says, he says, even if you have little, it will be taken away from you and given to him who has much. So another danger of not realizing where we are or who we are is we then stay silent in times when we're not supposed to. And we don't do the things that we are supposed to. And we think that, oh, I can always come back and do it. But sometimes that's not the case. Deliverance can arise from elsewhere. Our not being able to steward the moment well, it can be given to someone else who is able to recognize and they're more prepared for that moment. So point 2 and 3 basically tie in together to say that if you're not aware, then you fail to execute your stewardship. You fail to steward the opportunity well. You fail to steward the chance well. I had a time of when I was reflecting and it dawned on me a certain place that I was in, right? And I started to realize that, oh my goodness, because I did not fully realize the such as time as this that I was in, or the place that I was in, the position that I was in, I was not able to discern, and I failed to steward the opportunities I was getting. I failed to steward the chances that I was getting. I didn't manage to fully grow the way that I was supposed to, with a knowledge and a knowing of this is where I am. So you doing that also, you are not able to recognize your position of influence. You're not able to recognize the position that you have and to make use of it. For example, if you don't realize that you're such a time as this, that you're in a place where you can help someone, where you can help people, where you can improve their lives, people may continue to suffer. And you are going on with your life, but you're not realizing that you have a position of influence. You're in a time and space where you can impact someone else's life. So I just thought, let me combine that as well with some of the things I've learned from my 20s. Yeah, I think you can grab a notebook. I think one of the first things I would say is be willing to go beyond your comfort zone. I'm such a person where I'm very conservative, and it takes me time to open up, time to become comfortable, time to, then start to explore and everything. But I would say this to you, that whatever opportunity you have, try and grab it by both hands and do things that are outside your natural comfort zone. Again, it goes back to just what we were talking about, that there's certain opportunities that I had, and because I didn't realize where I really didn't think through where I was, I passed up on those opportunities. And there were such amazing opportunities. Don't shy away from doing things that are out of your comfort zone. Let me tell you a story. So in the residence that I was in, there came an opportunity to lead, right? So they're what we call sub-wardens. I don't know, at other universities, what they call them. And so I was in very good books with 2 of the sub-wardens who were there at the time, right? And then one of them encouraged me to apply, but I decided to shrink back because I felt I'm not such a good leader. It's out of my comfort zone. I don't feel like I can do this. And now when I look back in hindsight, I passed up on an opportunity to grow. I passed up on an opportunity to lead. Had I known at a point in time that, hello, ma'am, 5 to 7 years from now, there's going to be a requirement for you to lead. I probably would have been in a much better position to lead. Are you getting my flow? So I would say don't pass up on opportunities. Whatever opportunity comes your way, be able to grab it. And I say this with a grain of salt. What do I mean? Assess the opportunity. There's a difference between this being out of your comfort zone in the sense that it will push you to become a better person and something just having terrible consequences or it being a reckless opportunity. I don't mean take opportunities to destroy your life. Please, no, hear me well. I mean, take opportunities that are going to be for your betterment. Yes, it may challenge you. Yes, it may expose you in certain areas, but unless you've been exposed in a certain area, you probably won't realize that this is an area that I need to grow in. This is an area that I need to pay attention in. Or, oh, this is an area that I can actually do better in. Because had I taken up the opportunity, when I was then faced with an opportunity to basically communicate, and I was forced to up my communication game, I would probably have been in a better place. Why? Because I had the opportunity to present. I had the opportunity to speak before people. I had the opportunity to exert a level of leadership, right? So that's one of the things that I'm going to say is please don't pass up on those opportunities. Make use of them. Be able to go beyond your comfort zone, right? Another thing I'm going to share is make the most out of any opportunity you have to make money. And please put that money aside. Invest. You know, when we started off, investment wasn't such a buzzword the way that it is now. Neither was saving. Unless you came from a background where saving was the thing, of which I did, but then yeah, it was like, best time of my life. Save for who? But the reason why I'm saying that, if you have opportunities to make money, make that money, but put the bulk of it away. I'm not saying don't go out and enjoy life. Yes, there's room to enjoy life, but there's also room to think about tomorrow. Reason why I say this is that most of the times you're probably going to find if you don't immediately get employed, there's a gap, right? And in that time, maybe you can realize that you actually want to start a business, right? And now you have basically no capital, you have nothing to input. So I would say from that perspective, definitely put aside whatever money you have, invest it. And trust me, when you start like that year when you're not working, you need a bit of cushioning. You don't want to always be asking for airtime. You don't want to always be like a dependent. So definitely doing that will definitely make your life better, right? Another thing I'll say is be intentional about making good connections, right? This is really, really, really going to benefit you, especially when you will enter the working world, or even if you don't want to enter the working world, more so especially if you want to become an entrepreneur. Be intentional about your connections. I'm not saying befriend people, like be cozy because you only want something from them. No, but assess your connections. Assess that my being associated with this person, is it something that's actually beneficial? By beneficial, I don't mean you need to get money out of them or something like that, but is it an edifying relationship? Be it that it's on a personal level, even on a professional level. You're entering a communication or relationship with this person. Does it make you better? Does it give you a better footing? Does it put you in a better place? Also, it will help you to evaluate even the friendships that you enter into. I don't want to lie. God blessed me with very good quality friends. I don't want to lie, like very, very good quality friends, not just spiritually, but on every level. They really sharpen me, they really push me, they really challenge me. And I'm so grateful for those friendships that I made. Even some of the connections, which are acquaintances, they've served me well as up to this day. So make sure you're doing that. And how are you going to do that? Don't be scared of getting into a club, but get into a sensible club. By club, I don't mean woo, woo, woo. No, I mean like the extracurricular clubs. So I remember we had one that was called Invest Sock, right? Now, had I joined it and I had actually attended meetings, I probably would have made better financial decisions with my life, but I didn't, right? And so I think of something like that, where Had I really utilized that club, I probably would have gotten some pretty good connections. But even of the clubs that I did join and the connections that I did have, they really did something to push me forward. They pushed me forward, even to think about myself as a professional, to begin to imagine life beyond being a student, because you aren't going to be a student forever unless you want to, but that's a story for another day. But like, you're not going to be a student forever, and so you kind of need to begin to think, what do I want to be like? What am I gunning for? So having those kinds of associations and just being in those people's world will open your eyes to a lot. So I think that's all I will say, so that I don't ramble on too much. But yeah, I hope you found something useful. I hope you found something you can take away from this. And this applies even beyond your university, especially when you enter the workplace. Be very mindful of your association and make sure that it's a useful association. It's a useful connection. It's not just, Ichika good vibes. No, make sure that whatever you are doing, you're investing in quality connections, which will definitely take you to the next level. So do leave a comment below and let me know, what is it that you found useful? What is it that you are taking as a takeaway? And yeah, don't be like me. Don't be like me and squander all your money. Please invest. There's so many investment opportunities nowadays. There's so much you can do. Even if you come into a large amount of money, put it away. Trust me, you will need it in future. Something will come up in future and you'll be so grateful for the day that you saved. So otherwise, from me to you, see you in our next video.